Hello students, this is remote learning initiative undertaken by Shet Vidya Mandir English High School CBSE. Myself Preetham De Silva, your SST teacher, and today we are going to deal with Standard 7th History Chapter 5 Rulers and Buildings. Part 2 Building Temples, Mosques and Tanks. Students, temples and mosques were built to demonstrate the power, wealth, and devotion of the patron. According to an inscription, the Raja Rajeshwara temple was built by King Raja Raja Deva for the worship of his god Raja Rajeshwaram. Here, it is worth mentioning that the name of the ruler and the god are very similar. The king took the god's name because it was auspicious and he wanted to appear like a god. The largest temples were all constructed by kings. The other lesser deities in the temple were gods and goddesses of the allies and subordinates of the ruler. The temple was a miniature model of the world ruled by the king and his allies. As they worshipped their deities together in the royal temples, it seemed as if they brought the just rule of the gods on earth. Students, Muslim sultans and Padshahs did not claim to be the incarnations of God, but Persian court chronicles described the sultan as the shadow of God. An inscription in the Kuwait al-Islam Mosque explained that God chose Alauddin as a king because he had the qualities of Moses and Solomon, the great lawgivers of the past. The greatest lawgiver and architect was God himself. He created the world out of the chaos and introduced order and symmetry. Kings emphasized their moral right to be the ruler and so constructed places of worship to establish a close relationship with God. Rulers offered patronage to the learned and pious people. Rulers also built tanks and reservoirs and got praise. Sultan Iltutmish won universal respect for constructing a large reservoir just outside Delhi-e-Khuna. It was called the Hauz-e-Sultani or the King's Reservoir. Why were temples destroyed? Students, kings built temples, but when they attacked one another's kingdoms, they often targeted these buildings. In the early 9th century, when the Pandyan king Srimara Sri Vallabha invaded Sri Lanka and defeated the king Sena I, he seized all the valuables such as the statue of the Buddha made entirely of gold and other golden images from various monasteries. King Sena II took revenge of this. He invaded Madurai, the capital of the Pandyas, in order to restore the gold statue of the Buddha. In the same way, when in the early 11th century, the Chola king Rajendra I built a Shiva temple in his capital, he filled it with prized statues seized from defeated rulers. Sultan Mahmud of Ghazni not only seized the valuables from the temples but also destroyed them. He did it in order to win credit as a great hero of Islam. Thus, rulers displayed their political might and military success by attacking and looting the places of worship of defeated rulers.